Good evening, all of you. Today we'll be discussing a new poem in the class. So, the poet which we are going to discuss today is Harindranath Chattopadhyay. So, before beginning my lecture, let me share my screen with you people. Just a minute. Okay. So, who is Harindranath Chattopadhyay? You might you might not know him, but you will get to know him by the name of his sister. He is Sarojini Naidu's younger brother. So, and he is an Indian English poet, a dramatist, an actor, a musician, and a member of First Lok Sabha. Right? So, you can also see his image here, Harindranath Chattopadhyay, the man with a harmonium, right? So, not going into much details, let me begin with the poem which we are going to discuss today. And the name of the poem is Shaper Shaped. This is one of my personal one of the favorite Indian poems, right? So, let me begin with the poem. So, moving to the first stanza. In days gone by, I used to be a potter who would feel his fingers mold the yielding clay, the to patron on the wheel. But now, though wisdom lately won, that pride has gone away. I have ceased to be the potter and have learned to be the clay. Very beautiful lines. So you can see there is a rhyme pattern being followed here. First of all, let us discuss the rhyme pattern. You can see the last word of the first line is B, right? So B, you can see there is not any word which is making rhyme with the word be, but there are some another words like feel, wheel. These two are the rhyming words, right? Then you have clay, away, clay, away. These two are rhyming words. All right. So not going so much in those things. Let us discuss the summary of this poem. Let us discuss the feelings of this poem, feelings mentioned in this poem by the poet in this lecture, right? So here the poet is saying that in the days which are gone by, in the days of my past, when I was a child perhaps, when he was a child perhaps, he used to think that I am a potter. He used to feel himself a potter. He used to feel himself the creator of the things, a potter who is molding the clay, who is who with the art of his fingers he is molding the clay, and he is making different patterns on his wheels, and he is the ultimate crafter of the new things. He used to think himself in such big terms in the days gone by, but now you can see that there is a change in the tone of the poem, and this change is reflected by the word but now this is the demarcation point. Before this, poet is talking about the days gone by, what he used to think in the past, but now refers to the present time, what he thinks of himself in the present situation, or in the age when he is mature enough. Let us think, let us know what is the transformation in his feelings. But now, though wisdom lately won, he says that I have won the wisdom. Now I have the wisdom which I have won very lately, which I have won very recently. He says that now perhaps I'm a wise man to say that pride of being a creator, that pride of being a crafter has gone away. And now he feels that I have ceased to be a porter. Ceased to be a porter means he feels that no more I am a porter, no more I am a molder, no more I am creating these beautiful pots. I have ceased to be a potter and have learned to be the clay. This is a very beautiful line. And have learned to be the clay means that now I have get to know that I am not the potter. In fact, I am the lifeless clay which is being molded by the God. My life is being clayed by a supreme creator, that is the God. He says that now if I am doing something, it is not me, my own self, my self ego who is doing the things. Now with time, with wisdom, I have realized this fact that even if I am doing something, I am actually nothing more than a clay. I those things are not actually done by me. I am just an agent to those, to do those things. In actual, those tasks, those things are performed by the supreme creator, right? So I hope this stanza is clear enough. Now let me move forward to the second stanza. In other days, I used to be a poet, though through whose poems innumerable songs would come to win the hearts of men. So he says, in other days. In other days here refers to the time of the past. He says, in other days, in past, I used to be a poet. I used to feel proud to introduce myself as a poet, and I used to feel pride in saying that I am the poet through whose pen innumerable means number of poems, number of songs are being written daily. And I am the one who is winning the heart of the men, who is winning the heart of the persons, the people, the readers, by writing such beautiful poems. So here also you can see the ego part, the self part is dominating, that I am the doer of the things, right? But now again, as you could notice in the first stanza, here also we are having the tone breaking words, which are but now through new got knowledge which I hadn't had so long, I have ceased to be the poet and have learned to be the song. He says, but now I have got a new knowledge, some new knowledge, and with that knowledge I have realized that the things which I was thinking in the past were wrong, and I have ceased to be a poet. I have stopped to be a poet. I have stopped feeling myself to be a poet, and I have realized that I'm just a song which is sung by the supreme power. It means that I am just a creation. I am not the creator. The ultimate creator is somebody else. Again, here I am. Even if I'm writing poems, then it is just I'm just acting as an agent. In actual, it is the God, the supreme power, the Lord, who is providing me this talent, this energy, or this energy to do so. It is just with the blessings, with the with the art which I have received as a gift. So I am just an agent. I am not the ultimate creator. So here also you can see that the ego which was dominating in the first four lines of this stanza has submitted to the powers of the supreme creator, right? Now moving forward to the third stanza, which is the second last stanza of this poem, let me recite it. I was a fashioner of swords in days that now are gone, which on 100 battlefields glittered and gleamed and shone. Here also you can see that now this I was See the change in the tense. I was, it means here also he is talking of the time of the past. He says, in the past I used to have an ego, I used to have an attitude that I am the one who is fashioning the swords, who is creating the swords, right? And those swords which are so beautifully designed that in 100 of the battlefields, in 100 of the wars, that sword had glittered, that those swords had gleamed in the sunshine, and those swords had shone. It means they were so bright, they were so, beautifully manufactured, that they had been a tool of winning the wars. And I was the one who created those sort of swords. I used to think this in the past, but again now there are two words which are changing the mood of this stanza, and again those two words are but now. He says, but now I am brimming with the silence of the Lord. I have ceased to be a sword maker and have learned to be the sword. He says, now I am brimming with means I am full of this attitude. I am satisfied with that silence of the Lord. Lord here is obviously, perhaps, not obviously, perhaps, because in poetry you always are judgmental, we are never sure about the things. So taking this Lord, for me this Lord is the supreme power, the ultimate authority, the God. So he says that, but now I am brimming with the silence of the Lord. He says that I am attracted, I am impressed by the silence of the Lord, who is the ultimate creator of the things, and he never says a single word that I am creating, that I part is missing in that supreme Lord. He says, with I have got lessons from that attitude of the supreme Lord, and after I have got this ultimate knowledge, I have ceased to be the sword maker. I have ceased to be the sword maker means I no longer feel myself to be the one who is making those war winning swords. And now I have learned that I am not a sword maker. In fact, I am just a sword. I am just a creation of that supreme God, right? Now let us read the last stanza quickly. In bygone days, I used to be a dreamer who would hurl on every side an insolence of emerald and pearl. He says that in now in the days which are past, I used to feel myself as a dreamer who would move on every side, who would go anywhere with a sort of insolence, with a sort of, and with a sort of arrogance, with a sort of an attitude of being something of ultimate power, of emerald and pearl. Emerald and pearl, emerald is a precious diamond, and pearl is, as you know, a white sort of a metal, right? Metal, or you can say a precious object, a stone, right? So he says that I used to have that point, I used to have the dreams of emerald and pearls, and I used to be so boastful about the things which I had in my possession. But now he says, but now I am kneeling. Kneeling means kneeling down. I am on my knees at the feet of the Supreme. Who is Supreme here? Supreme with the S capital. It means Supreme here is the ultimate power, and for me that is God, right? And he says, now I am, I am kneeling down in front of that supreme power, and because I have got the ultimate knowledge, I have get to know the ultimate truth by now. And after that, after being aware of such after being blessed with such faith, I have ceased to be a dreamer who was dreaming of such emeralds and pearls, who was feeling that I need to possess the materialistic things. And he says, now I have ceased to be that dreamer. I am no longer that dreamer, and I have learned to be the dream, and I am just a dream, a beautiful dream perhaps, which is being dreamt by the ultimate dreamer, that is the Supreme Lord. So you can see there is a consistency in this poem. If you'll be reading, if you'll be going through these four stanzas again, you'll find that what in a nutshell the poet is trying to say, that in the days gone by, when I didn't have the ultimate wisdom, I used to feel that I am the one who is doing these things, and now I am the sole creator. And he used to be very boastful about these things. He used to carry the pride in these things, but with the time he has achieved this ultimate truth, this ultimate knowledge, this ultimate wisdom, that he is not the one, but he is, like a very very beautiful metaphor he has used in the poem itself, that he is just a clay. He's a clay. He is just clay which is being molded by the supreme God, which is supreme power, which is God. And he says that it's not me who is doing these things, it is that the God is doing these things. I am just a medium to to perform all these tasks. So now this is actually his that ego has ceased, that boastful nature has ceased to exist in his case. So with this we are done with this poem, and I hope you enjoyed this poem. And now this is a task for all of my students to read this poem once again, and if you have doubts, we'll be discussing those doubts in the next class. Thank you.